Hi folks, welcome to my humble homestead in the forest, and today I want to show you what a rare tree in my forest looks like. In fact, a rare tree in possibly some parts of Canada. It is called a white ash, obviously from the variety of under the umbrella of ash. I think I read once that it is from the family of lilacs and something else that was amazing to me. Things lilacs. I don't even think of them as trees. Anyway, they have this sort of a diamond pattern bark to them. Maybe I'll bring it closer so you can see. It's almost like a bear clawed, as a marking it with its claws. It dragged its claws down, and by doing so, it marked it. I don't know if you can see this area here. It's almost like a burrow, and which is a little bit odd. I'm guessing how this happened was there was another tree that had forced it to do this, and then it corrected itself. But usually, it's used because it's a hardwood. It grows slower than softwood or maybe even other varieties of hardwood. It has, in this case, it has straight grains. Grains, how can I tell you? You know what wood grains are when you look at your furniture, whatever, it just goes fairly straight and narrow, So it's good for making, I guess, things that like tabletops maybe, but mostly baseball bats, paddles for your boat, handles for your tools, tool handles, that sort of thing. It dries because it's a hardwood. It dries slower and longer than most hardwoods, but I lived in a different province, and there, emerald ash borer beetle, the size, whether it came from China, that can be debated, but that's not the point. The point is that they pretty much decimated it. So it would bore into it and then lay its larvae in there, and then the larvae would destroy the tree, and many of them had to be cut down and burnt down, because it wasn't just a question of cutting them down and then just taking them away somewhere, but they had to be burnt down to make sure that the larvae, if there's any left in there, don't survive. So we're trying to bring them back here. They're not necessarily native, as far as I know, to my neck of the woods, but we're just trying to bring ash back. Just around me, I mean, I have other ones probably elsewhere in the property, but here we have planted 1, 2, 3, 4, not necessarily by us, 5, 6, 6 that I can see. And they if you're thinking of growing it on your property, they prefer full sun and moist, wet, but well-drained soil. Hard to imagine how that would be, because if it's wet, how can it be well-drained, you might ask? Well, the thing is that, or forested in woodlands like here, what happens is that if you go on like slopes, kind of gentle slopes, or riverbeds, or getting close to, so there's water, a lot of water gathering, coming available, but it's not sitting at the very bottom. So then there's a lot of water available for it, but then it still drains away towards the, say, like the river or a pond or somewhere. So it goes over there. It's not like willows where they like to be right on the pond, like right the same level. They need a lot of water, so they need water. I mean, they would, I said full sun, but they can tolerate some shade, but they prefer that they have lots of water available, but not sitting on their. They don't want their feet in wet ground. They are late bloomers. So what I mean is, from my window where I sit there and I look this way all the time, I see almost all of these trees have their leaves, and every year I used to worry, thinking, "Oh my God, my ash trees are dead," because um, you worry when you plant something. I mean, anything growing on its own, you don't worry as much. But when you plant something, and you're not necessarily by us, but you worry that not native here, and you think, "Oh, I knew it wouldn't survive," or "I was worried that it wouldn't survive." But it's not that. They're just late bloomers. They're kind of spindly when you look at them. They're not like, but when they do get bigger, I think I have a neighbor who has one. They can be 100 feet tall, and this one's maybe about 60 feet tall now. But not just 100 feet tall, but they can be 50 feet wide, the canopy at the top. And so when you look at them at this sort of age, how old is this? How old are you? I don't know. I would say 30, 40 years, and they can live to, I don't know, 250, 300 years, something like that. In I'm guessing, ideal conditions. What is an ideal condition anymore? I don't know. But a lot of places that have been clear cut, like some parts of Europe, used for furniture or whatever. See, this is why it's so important to, if you're going to cut something down, it has to be selective, and you have to think about the future. If you're cutting 10 trees down, and they're hardwoods, and they're going to take time to grow to that, to the age that you want to then reharvest again, you have to plan something like 100 years, 200 years in advance. You can't just, a lot of companies you hear that say, "Oh, we planted whatever trees, or for every tree that we cut down, we plant 10 more." But the thing is, the time to plant is not the time necessarily that you cut down, because you can plant 1,000 trees for every one that you cut down. But if it's a hardwood in particular, it's going to take so long to grow. It would probably take 3-4 generations of us before that tree is the same age as the one that you cut down. I don't know if I'm making sense, but this is a white ash, and I hope, if you have a chance, if you have some land, or if you buy some land, you consider maybe planting one or two. Nothing. You don't want to have too much of anything. You don't want to be like a monoculture like the farmers do. You need to have a good combination. Some things, and especially only now we're learning how the roots interact, how the roots talk to each other. These trees are way too close. Like that one is too close to this one. That's a poplar. Is it a tulip poplar? No, it's a trembling poplar. So there's about 4 feet distance. It should be a minimum of 6 feet. In fact, because that's such a fast-growing tree, I would rather not even have that here. If I ever have if there's ever a chance or opportunity or whatever, I would remove that in favor of this one. So now this one can have more sun. Remember, I said it likes full sun, more sun, and if it can spread out, because there's a maple right there too. There's a maple here. Anyway, I hope this was helpful to you. And if you know any more that you can add to about white ash, or really anything else on the videos that I have, and let me know, because I need to know. And I'd rather hear from a human than a website or whatever. Thanks.